Welcome back to Morning Joy, where truth matters. I'm your host, Keith Downey. And do you have difficulty praying the rosary, especially with your children? Yes, I think everyone can kind of agree with this one. Maybe you've heard on Catholic radio, maybe you've heard podcasters or just people in general, maybe it's your pastor saying it's very important to pray the rosary. And so you take that message back home and you think this is going to be working out perfectly. Your children are going to get it immediately. And you start praying the rosary, and it's chaos, to say the least. If you fall into that group, you're not alone. We're standing in solidarity here. And that's why we kind of wanted to bring this particular topic up this morning, kind of bring some joy into this. There was an interesting Church Pop article that talks just about this. Difficulty praying the rosary with your kids. Here are 3 family rosary hacks from a mom of small children. So, Jesse and Kathleen LeBlanc, so these are Catholic musicians. We should probably have them on the show. I'm just now thinking that. We'll have to have them on the show. But they're essentially drawing their experiences. You know, they're essentially sharing 3 tips to help families pray the rosary with especially young children. Before we get into it, though, producer Tim, you're a convert. Did you?
I am, yes.
You are. Yes, you are. When you began praying and maybe implementing the rosary at home, what was that like in your experience with your family? I'm curious.
Oh, wow. The trepidation that I went into it with, because first I still was getting over my hangups about even just praying to Mary in general. Yeah. Then this idea of wait, I'm just repeating these words over and over again. How is my heart going to be in this? What am I supposed to do with my mind while I'm doing this? So I think my own kind of insecurities as a convert with the rosary probably were not inspiring confidence in my kids who were youngish at the time.
Well, I mean, the important part is that you were trying. I think getting it because I think there's this pressure. I think we feel that's like we have to do the entire rosary. We have to do it in this manner. It's like, well, just doing it is important because the children, I mean, no matter what they're seeing you do something, they're going to realize that this is probably important if mom and dad are doing it, which kind of leads me back to this wonderful article because I myself I find it very challenging to pray the rosary with everybody in my family, right? Obviously, I have a couple children.
Yours are younger than mine.
Yes, toddler and just a baby still. Baby's fine, right? The baby, I mean, she's actually very quite receptive to this.
They have teething rosaries.
They do. We have one.
Nice.
Yeah. That does help from time to time. We also have a glow in the dark. It's like one of those pop bubble things that you see a lot of children have now. I have one that's glow in the dark for whatever reason, and that's every once in a while that is used. Sometimes I use it though in case I can't remember what the next mystery is. I look at it, I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. No one knew. Now people know. But okay, the first one that this couple, Jesse and Kathleen LeBlanc, say to help pray the rosary with your children: change the environment. Changing rooms in the house while praying the rosary was a positive step. It's awesome how a simple shift to our routine has made all the difference in the enjoyment of our family rosary time. I would
doing it in the car,
yeah,
like dropping them off at school. Is that too distracting, or is that a good change of environment?
It's worth a shot. I think it's worth a shot for sure because it's a different environment. It might be different for the person that's driving because now their attention's kind of on 2 separate things. But I think for any of the passengers, they can really focus on it a little bit more. Sometimes we go on a rosary walk, which is nice because it incorporates movement, and so you're not trying to rally your children and okay, there she goes. I don't know, she just ran away and she's yelling and screaming. This is disruptive. Going on a walk has helped us every once in a while. Also, our neighbors probably think we're the crazy Catholics with our rosaries, with our rosaries at our side, praying the rosary vocally out loud. But that's okay. That's kind of evangelizing. I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know. Number 2, incorporate image slides. So as the family begins to pray, they dim the lights and turn on the television, which displays images related to each mystery of the Rosary. And they say as we pray, we go through a slideshow that I put on together on Canva. Canva is kind of like Photoshop in a way, but it's basically you can put on like presentations with Canva. So that's what Canva is. But it includes one new picture for each mystery. It's so simple, but the kids, and let's be honest, to us too, are drawn to focus on the image, ask questions about it, and start making sense of meditating on the mysteries of the Rosary. That's really cool. This is something that we've kind of gone towards. We don't use Canva, though. I think I might use that just because. So I've shared it before. We utilize. There's a YouTube video out there. It's from I can't think of the name exactly, but it's there's a production company, Catholic production company in California, and they have this series of Rosary videos, each pertaining to each one. Whether, we tend to do the joyful mysteries. My daughter is stuck on it, and I can't be too upset about it. She loves the joyful mysteries and what's shown on the screen because it's taking each mystery is shown from a film. I believe it's called, oh my goodness, it's a 1960, it's a very old movie. I can't find it for the life of me. I've looked on YouTube, I looked on Amazon. I don't know where it is, but it shows each mystery, and I now know it by heart. And so my child absolutely loves it, and she does not want to deviate from any other mystery. And so eventually we'll have to, and I think using something like Canva here might change it up a bit, kind of like changing the environment, changing the television environment, I guess.
I love that she's so stuck on it, because that's those memories and that habit is going to stick with her into her adulthood. When she goes back to the Rosary, decades from now, she's going to have that same feeling of it's so close to her heart.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's it's kind of funny too. Side note, when we're watching this and praying and meditating on it, what's happening on the screen, there's no, like, they muted the actors as they're talking, like, Elizabeth is talking to Mary. My daughter has now made up what they're saying. And so sometimes we can't help but laugh, okay, all right, let's rally back to the mystery of the Rosary here. But that is a very good tip and suggestion. Now, number 3, I think this is really interesting, and I actually might try this as well. Ask questions before each mystery. So they say before starting to pray the mystery, the parents ask their children what is happening in the image they see on the television. This simple activity has helped the children to better understand Jesus' life. Before each mystery, we ask them if they can remember what's happening in the picture. The more we do each mystery, the more they are remembering the details. In general, they are picking up so much about the life of Jesus, and it's allowing them to have a helpful focal point amidst the natural distractions of praying with small kids. Our 5-year-old has been volunteering to lead decades lately, and it's so sweet to hear. So that is, I don't know, that kind of almost bleeds into the second one there. With the incorporating the images, but pausing it and really just going into some of the details. Now, obviously, if you have a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, I guess you have to keep in mind of the age and maturity of the child. They may not understand, but they may. A lot of children, I don't know if your experience of this is, producer Tim, smaller children seem to pick up what you put down, although you may not realize it, but you may find it a little bit later. I don't know. What was your experience?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially my son, when he was a baby, he would really surprise us with his total recall or instant imitation of adults. Even when it looks like he's not paying attention, and suddenly he says something that an adult across the room just said, and we're like, "Oh my word!" So, and this was he was 2. So,
oh no,
yeah. So they definitely do that, and so you just be with those developmental stages. If it's a 3-year-old and they're learning to count, we have 10 beats here. And it's really the benefit of it comes from doing it consistently at the same time, doing it, just letting them know this is important. This is what we do. This is like breathing. This is like eating. We do it over and over and over again. And that's really where the benefit comes in. Though you don't want it to be like a rote routine where it becomes, like a blind spot. So often, instead of asking questions before the mysteries, I would try to describe them in like startling ways for my kids. Like that time, Mary and Joseph lost Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. And then they found him. They found him in the temple. And so you kind of like make them see that picture in a new way, or like, Jesus died. There were nails in his hands. And that's like the crucifixion mystery. And it's like, it's instead of just naming it as like, oh, the crucifixion. Well, that doesn't mean much to like a 5-year-old.
No.
But if you describe it in some little startling way that might get their attention, that could do it like asking questions too.
Yeah, no, that you raise a good point. That's yeah. Obviously, you don't want this, like if you're gonna do kind of what this couple was mentioning, using Canva, kind of like a slideshow.
Oh yeah, you're not going to use the Passion of the Christ with like a 2-year-old.
Yeah, so that's the thing with this particular production company that we're watching the Rosary with. The Sorrowful Mysteries I've had to like not use because even though it's an older production, it's not as like what maybe you call grotesque as the Passion. Still, I mean, you can't get away from the gruesome aspect of like a live version of someone being crucified. So while pictures might actually work because it's you can find pictures that show, but not necessarily the action of it. I don't know. That's still an interesting aspect of children praying the Rosary. But I hope y'all learned something new, especially from praying the Rosary with children. I know I certainly have, and I hope that benefits and makes your Rosary beautiful and blessed. But that is it for Morning Joy, where truth matters. Now we're going to transition on over to our after show clubhouse, which, mind you, it's a way for us to debrief from the show. And of course, most of all, interact with you. So if you're listening on the radio and you want to tune in, just search Morning Joy Radio or GRN online on any of the social medias. We'll be happy if you're joining us on YouTube. Beautiful community there, so make sure to dive into that. Otherwise, if we'll see you next time on Morning Joy, where truth matters, it's 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Eastern. Here, God bless.
This has been Morning Joy, where truth matters, hosted by Keith Downey. Take some joy with you today. Visit grnonline.com/joy to listen again, share a segment, or answer the question of the day. That's grnonline.com/joy.